Well, he makes you wish you were stranded on a desert island with him. Naveen Andrews on Lost plays Saeed, the Iraqi soldier who is a lover and a fighter. Well, now he's also starring in an ABC motion picture event, 4 hours over 2 nights, tonight and tomorrow. One of the great epics of all time, the Ten Commandments, complete with some 20,000 extras, and the parting of the Red Sea. And Naveen Andrews joins us now. You are not Moses. You did not part the Red Sea, right?
I did not part the Red Sea. I drowned in the Red Sea.
You don't have to tell people that. No, they got to find that out.
It's an old story. Everybody knows it.
Okay, but, well,
Wonderful
just
story.
in case they didn't. Okay. Listen, before we do this, I just have to ask you something, because I read a quote that made my day. You said, I've always been attracted to older women because they know who they are and they look infinitely better to me. Well, I know you've been involved with the beautiful Barbara Hershey, who's 21 years older than you are, but tell me more about that part, especially looking infinitely better as the years go on. I have plenty of time here to listen.
Okay. Are you ready?
Oh, yes.
Well,
we'll get around to the Ten Commandments, but this is more important.
Yeah. Experience, character, and, you know, not a little wisdom. And to see that in a woman's face is extraordinarily attractive to me. Yeah.
And you are so attractive to me when you say, oh, well, where was I? Okay, to the Ten Commandments, this very important epic that was done with Charlton Heston in 1956. And now it's being redone in a whole new way of parting the Red Sea. I watched it. Okay, you do not play Moses, but you play Moses' half-brother, who is a royal prince, and you have a conflict because he wants you to help free the slaves, right?
Yes.
And you want him to join you in the palace.
Right, but more than that, I would say it's a chance to use that character to question the nature of dogma, religious dogma and political dogma, which I think is particularly pertinent that we have this version of the Ten Commandments at this particular time.
Which is different in what way, do you think?
It's slightly more subversive in the sense that I think one should question your leaders.
There you are in your headdress and so on. It questions the leaders, it questions God.
Mm-hmm. And the nature of who this God is supposed to be. And it seems that at this particular time, we're caught between these bastions of fundamentalism, you know, the religious right in this country and Islamic fundamentalism in the East, and we seem to be the victims of that, occupying the middle ground.
So you think that this does what? Raises questions about leadership and religion in addition to the epic story?
In relation to Moses, if somebody came to you tomorrow and told you that they've been speaking to a bush, it's on fire, it's burning, and the voice of God issues from this plant, you would have them hospitalized. You would have them put away. And
it's faith, it's belief.
Yes, but it can be the excuse for a great folly and genocide, I guess, in the case of Moses.
Well, it really is a new version, and I must say it's a stunning version to see as well. But I have to talk to you while you're here, although I'd like to keep talking about older women. But nevertheless, Lost. We have so many fans of Lost. Now, you're going to be with us next season. They're not going to wipe you out. Yeah.
No, I think we all live in fear. You know, it's not the kind of job that you can be secure about and put your feet up. No. It seems that we all feel that we're expendable. But
do you think you'll be back next season?
I hope so.
I hope so. What about this silence? You all have to have silence.
Yes,
What's that all
it's terrible, isn't it? This kind of conspiracy of silence that's almost Stalinist in its nature. Just people living in fear.
You really are an outspoken person about one has to do with heretics, one has to do with fear. Let me talk about fear with you. Because when you were doing The English Patient, which many of us remember, you went through a very bad period. Drugs, alcohol, got yourself out of it. I mean, that's a hard climb.
A part of it was to do with living in England, I feel, now that I live here. England is a nation of drinkers, and we drink a lot, and we don't really question that. It's a way of life. And so to be sober is kind of anathema over there.
Oh, well, I'm sure the English are going to be delighted with this interview, but now you're fine, right?
Well,
I'm joking about it, but you had a hard climb.
Well, as a result of coming here, I have to say, it's especially in Los Angeles, you know, to be sober it's actually, it's almost fashionable, dare I say it.
To be sober?
Yeah.
Well, we're glad you are. You're sober and you're a wonderful actor, and now we have you in Lost, but we also have you in this epic. And I must say, you're an interesting interview.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to have someone who says what he thinks, even if you don't agree. Thank you. The Ten Commandments is a two-part ABC special. It begins tonight at 9, 8 Central, and on Wednesday, Naveen can be seen on ABC's Lost at 9, 8 Central. He's a busy man. When we come back, we'll check in with Robin, who is a busy lady in Chicago.
I'm hiking to one of the beaches to start a signal fire. But if you're reading this, I guess I didn't make it. I'm sorry. I love you, Jenny. Always have, always will. Yours, Henry. So tell me, how did Henry Gale write a note to his wife with a broken neck?
That was Naveen Andrews, otherwise known as Saeed, on the mega hit show Lost. But now he's starring in a miniseries of biblical proportions, The Ten Commandments. It's on tonight and tomorrow night. Please welcome back Naveen Andrews.
How are you?
Oh, I've had such a good time. I've gotten to kiss you twice because we just talked to each other on what's that morning show?
GMA.
I really did know. Do you cry? What do you think about men crying?
I cry a lot. I'm employed to cry and weep and
That's
wail.
right, yeah.
No, it's good. It's a release, and more men should do it.
More men should cry, really?
If we were dating actors, do you think we should trust them as in a relationship if they started to cry?
Absolutely not.
Because you're good at that.
Yeah, it can be worked.
Listen, I want to talk to you first about Lost before we talk about Ten Commandments, because you told me earlier today that you're a little nervous about being killed off, and there are so many twists and turns and things and stuff in Lost that some people think maybe the writers are lost. Give us a hint as to what happens this year. Is it going to be a big, bombastic ending? What's going to go on?
Well, first of all of us are pretty concerned about being relieved of our
Knocked out,
duties
yeah.
over in Hawaii. I think it's the kind of job where you can't be too complacent. You can't just put your feet up and take it easy. It could happen at any time.
Yeah.
I know something catastrophic and violent is going to happen at the end of this season, so we all sort of sit around in fear.
Fear of what?
The catastrophe.
They're actors. They're actors. Oh, that part.
Yeah, that's pretty catastrophic.
You never know. I mean, and you mentioned Hawaii because much of Lost is shot right there on the beaches of Hawaii, but then there's some scenes, the cave scenes,
Right.
which are usually the creepy scenes that are shot actually on a big sound stage, I understand. And I was told that some of you got creeped out about shooting those scenes.
Yes, something heavy went down in the place where we shoot, which is an old sort of abandoned kind of warehouse. And it was a murder.
In the actual place?
In the actual place, but in fact it was a mass murder. I think about 4 or 5 people were killed, and I didn't personally notice it. I mean, maybe I'm not sensitive enough, but some people did, and there was a ritual exorcism.
Really? You did an exorcism before you did the cave scenes. Wow.
That sounds really dramatic, doesn't it?
Yeah, it
But,
does.
I guess it
What you
is.
needed was Moses.
I got it.
You needed Moses to take you through the cave scene. But seriously, we have an ABC miniseries. It's on tonight and tomorrow night, The Ten Commandments. Somebody was joking 5 commandments tonight and 5 commandments tomorrow night. But
Yeah. Well, you know what's coming.
well, you do know what's coming. But you don't play Moses. You play Minareth, who is an Egyptian prince. I saw this. Raised as Moses' brother, and you got your problems. You love each other, but you get to be on different sides, and there's a lot of struggle. Was Minareth in the original, in the Cecil B. DeMille one? I don't remember that.
Yes.
He was not this big a part.
He was played by Yul Brynner.
Brenda, yeah.
That was but he was Ramses.
But-
He was Ramses.
He was
wasn't called
Ramses. Yul
Minareth.
Brynner played
I
Ramses.
knew.
Ramses was actually the son of the old King
Pharaoh.
Seti.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was really into
Okay,
it.
so
Go ahead.
anyway, so it wasn't the same person, but it
Yes.
was. Anyway, take a look. This is a little bit of it.
A weak man is the worst of all adversaries. He mistakes stubbornness for strength. He'll fight on when a strong man would leave the battlefield knowing all is lost. You're a stubborn man, too.
Because I know I win. God will win.
And then what?
Ramesses will free us.
And what can we do in the meantime?
Pray to your gods that Ramesses will spare your people further suffering.
Well, I mean, this has got a lot of... This doesn't give answers. This also raises questions. And you have said that this is different from the earlier, the Cecil B. DeMille and the Charlton Heston. This has a more controversial undertheme.
Yes, it's not so reverential. It's, hopefully our depiction of Moses is, he's a nutcase.
He's a nutcase.
You know, he's somebody who you would want a very safe distance from yourself and your family.
So could this possibly offend people?
Of course.
Well, hopefully, yes,
Yeah.
because he's the sort of person that you would find today maybe directing traffic at crossroads. Anybody who espouses extreme religious dogma, I think, should be viewed with suspicion.
So should we view the Ten Commandments themselves with suspicion in that case?
I think you should view any dogma, any
Well, you're talking about religion.
any
Any
kind of
believes in
dictate.
faith.
So
with
anything-
Well, they're not
suspicion.
suggestions, they're commandments, okay? It's not like the 10 suggestions.
Right.
It's the 10 commandments.
In stone.
And they pretty much lasted for a long time.
Right, which pretty much our Constitution was based off of them,
Yeah,
I
those
believe.
commandments are
as
doing
well.
all right.
Well, I think it's good to question them.
They're
that's
not
what this does,
suggestions.
They're not set in stone. They have to be questioned.
Well, actually, according to the movie, they were set in stone. I mean, from what I
Actually, they're holding them up as tablets.
You know, so you have to be nice to Naveen because he goes out with a woman who's 21 years older than he
Yes.
is. So we
Barbara
forgive him
Hershey.
anything he said so far.
You are an inspiration.
Speaking
But
of Barbara-
I hear you think the joy is the one of all of us to emulate.
Well, yes, because we're in similar situations, are we not?
Well, mine is a few years, not that many years younger.
Right.
You know, you really robbed the nursing home with that one.
I came first. Yeah. I started quite young as well, actually. Yes, it should be emulated, you know, on every level.
Well, you know what?
Every.
Well, we emulate you all the time.
She's
Right, right. And whatever you do, the fact that you like, you know, somewhat older women pleases all of us, although, you know,
Well, he
whatever
happens to
our
be.
age.
It happens to be an extremely lovely and talented, beautiful,
And beautiful actress,
Barbara
right.
Hershey.
You bet.
You know, it's
You
not.
bet.
You know,
Right.
Yeah.
It's not Margaret Thatcher.
She's pretty fabulous herself.
But I think you're pretty cute, too. We've been together twice today. I hope we have more meetings before the day is over. Our thanks to Naveen Andrews. The Ten Commandments airs tonight and tomorrow night, and Lost airs Wednesday nights right here on ABC. You check your local listings. Thank you. We'll be right back.